Good evening. Welcome back to We Are Better Together, the space where we talk about real life, growth, and real connections. I'm your host, Deneen.
And I'm your co-host, Sierrah. Today we're diving into something that shapes every part of our happiness, meaningful relationships.
Right. And, we all want joy, peace, and stability, but so much of that comes from people we're connected to. And honestly, so many books and experts back this up, especially when it comes to how men build relationships. So we're going to get into some things about men today. We're going to give you some book resources. So it's going to be a good show.
Yes. And for an example is like The Power of Showing Up by Dr. Dan Siegel and Tina Payne Bryson. They talk about how just being present literally shapes the brain and our emotional health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, books like Man Enough by Justin Baldoni and The Mask of Masculinity by Lewis Howes talks about how men often struggle with vulnerability, but when they embrace it, their relationships deepen in powerful ways.
Imagine.
You're too funny. Okay, Sierrah, whatever. Don't get crazy on it. So we're going to talk about the first segment, we're going to talk about why relationships shape your happiness.
Yes.
Am I going to start that, Sierrah?
Yes. So, okay.
I can start it. No, I'll go ahead and start that. And this is what it talks about. It talks about how humans are wired for connection. When someone understands you, your nervous system calms down. Stress hormones drop. You feel grounded. And Brene Brown, that's one of the authors that we're referencing today, she talks about this in her book called Dare to Lead, how connections and vulnerability are essential to courage and emotional resilience. So, I mean, connections are important.
Yeah, connections are important, and it's so difficult to be vulnerable, but it's so critical to like friendships and especially like romantic relationships. But I feel like it's one of the biggest things that most people struggle with. Even one good conversation can change your whole mood. And in The Whole Brainchild by Dr. Siegel, explains how relationships help regulate emotions, especially during stress.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so meaningful relationships give you belonging, and belonging is one of the strongest predictors of long-term happiness. Stephen Covey talks about this in The 7 Habits of the Effective Families. He has so many books. I mean, gosh, this is a good one. He talks about how family and close relationships are the foundation of emotional stability.
Yes. Because I mean, at the bare bones, like when you're going through a hard time, just having someone to speak to about it makes a huge difference.
Oh my gosh. Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that, just feeling like, just not feeling like you're alone makes all the difference. I was recently listening to somebody talking about, I guess there was this person in London, and he got into this controversy thing about plagiarism and stuff, and he ended up committing suicide. And there was a guy that was talking about it, and he was saying how he had gotten to some situations where, people were coming at him really hard about some things. And he said that if he didn't have some meaningful relationships, he probably would have considered something like that too. So, I mean, that just tells you how important it is to have some real people in your life that you can count on, that you can call on.
Yes, and feel comfortable being vulnerable with, because that's really the key. Because I mean, if you just call someone up and you pretend like everything's fine, you're not gonna get the same impact.
Oh yeah, no, that's so good, right? Because then you talk about Lewis Howes has a book. It's called The Mask of Masculinity, and it breaks down how men wear masks, the tough guy mask, the stoic mask, and how those masks block connections. And
Yeah.
so I think that it's a good reference on understanding, how men are operating in their everyday lives.
Yeah, because I mean, I even like I struggle with that, like having putting the mask down, being vulnerable. So I mean, it could help women as well.
Yeah, I mean, when those masks come off, I mean, men experience deeper joy, deeper intimacy, and deeper peace. So, I mean, it's important to just be able to be honest about, what's happening in your lives. I have a friend of mine that I believe that he doesn't have any real meaningful relationships. And what I mean by that, because when I say meaningful relationships, because we have a lot of relationships, we have a lot of people that we interact with, but a meaningful relationship is somebody that you can be yourself with, someone you can be real with, someone you can share your weaknesses. You can share when you don't know. I don't know, and I don't know. I'm feeling bad. I'm thinking bad things. I'm not thinking right. Somebody that you can just be honest with. And I just feel like that whenever I talk to him, I always feel like he's always hiding. That's what I feel.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think we all know people like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Sierra, what you got?
Um. So okay. And we're gonna go to segment two. Why relationships? What makes relationships meaningful?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what actually makes relationships meaningful because not every relationship is deep, and that's
Right.
true.
Right.
Um,
Right. Right. For me, the first thing is consistency, right?
mhm.
Meg Meeker talks about this in Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters, how presence and consistency shapes trust. So, by being present in people's lives and being consistent, they can count on you to be there, right? And then
Mhm.
when you're there, you're attentive. You are actually there. You're not going through your phone constantly, right? You're not even watching TV. A lot of times, you're sitting here with somebody, they're watching TV, you're talking to them.
Yep.
So just not allowing distractions to, mess up the vibe, Sierra.
Yeah, the vibe, yes. But I think when we're talking about like not every relationship is deep, I think that's like a really critical thing because especially like when you're building friendships, I think there's pressure on trying to build friendships with people where you're always looking for your next best friend who like you
Mm.
can do everything with and they understand you and things like that. But there's also value in having more of a like casual friendship where you can just text them about something like every day or like not anything too novel and they're just there to like respond and just like you just want someone to go to the movie theater with or you just want someone to get a drink with, so it's just like there doesn't need to be pressure to only have like really deep relationships. You need both.
Oh, I think there's so many different levels of friendships,
Yeah.
So if I want to talk about food, I got my food friend, right? If I want
Hmm.
to talk about travel, I got my travel friend. If I want to talk about, Jesus, I got my Jesus friend, right?
Hmm.
If I want to talk about children, I got
Hmm.
my children friend. If I want to talk about adult children, I got, so we find these friends based on the commonalities that we have, right? So what do you have in common?
Yes.
Right? And
Hmm.
then you lock into that. Because I think I was talking about this before that I have a friend of mine that they would have parties and they
Hmm.
would have people from every aspect of their lives. They would have grandma's friends, they would have the kids' friends, they would have their friends, they would have work friends, they would have everybody at these gatherings. And I would go there and I just would be like, oh my gosh, I was so overwhelmed because there were just so many different, you know, I don't know, different pieces going on at the same
Hmm.
time. Right. So
Yes,
yeah.
and I know people. I know people who I know they're like connectors. They're people who have like a lot of different friends in a lot of different areas, and they've met them in different ways. Like something they're typically good at is identifying like who can interweave with certain people and not just forcing every group to be together.
Yeah.
That's a big piece because like not everybody just because you're friends with someone you go share a friend means that you should be friends. Like that's not the
Yeah.
case.
No, I agree. I so agree with that. I mean, you know me, I'm pretty territorial, so I don't want to be having all these people around me at, you know, at the same time with all these different little um reasons for being in the group. I don't want to talk to all of them. It's just, you know, I like to have like, okay, I like to have intimate gatherings. So I want to have the gathering with these folks. I want to have a gathering with those folks. I just, and then we can be really specific about, you know, our conversations. We can be really specific about our interactions. We don't have to, you know, we don't have to give people background stories, right?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So you got every time somebody else comes in, you got to give them the whole background stories of this is how we met. Da, 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 da. So for me, I like to have the intimate groups that I'm much more familiar with.
But yeah, one thing about me is that and I do think that's the only reason I've like made it anywhere in DC and have like anybody to speak to is because
Mhm.
I can be brought most places. Like I can kind of just be brought into a room of people and people are like, oh, okay.
Right, right,
Sure.
right, right. Yeah. You don't pose any threat to people. I mean, you're pretty,
It's
I
just
would say chameleon like.
yes, yes. It's also me being a Libra. I mean, is there something a little bit of a shapeshifter? Like, you know, is there some mask play to that? I don't know, but 100%, I can like get in most rooms, and I'm just and here's and a big part of it is I'm not very judgmental.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's
I
true.
don't care
It's true.
about anything that's not impacting me directly. Like,
Yeah.
you can pretty much like people can sit there and just tell me something like wild, and I'm just like, do you? And I think that's why they keep inviting me. I think that's why they invite me places.
I like the fact. I like when you said that. You know, shapeshifter. I love that. That's a good little term. That's a little
Mhm.
good a little term to talk about.
Oh,
So then I think when I think about what makes a relationship meaningful, though, for men,
mhm,
consistency is often how they show love. Right.
mhm.
The way of the superior mom. I'm sorry. The way of the superior man. David Dita talked about how masculinity, presence, steady, grounded, intentional creates emotional safety. So that's another good book to look up. The Way of the Superior Man. That's another reference that will help get you to being a little bit more vulnerable, right? And helping you to be present, you know, not just being there. So that's another good one.
Yeah, I think we one of the biggest things people always bring up is you go to like a restaurant and you look at how many groups are just everyone sitting on their phone. People aren't
Mhm.
actually speaking to each other, just in silence, and that's really about being present in the moment. But also, I mean, when we were talking about like friendship, I think the deepest friendships you can have is when you can be in one room, they can be in the other room, and you're both just on your phone separately. And then you're sending them videos from your room to their room, and then that's your bonding time. You
we
both
used to
need it.
we used to do that a lot. Remember when you guys were small? But like we'd be in the house all together, and everybody would be in their respective places, and we were all so happy. We meet up and we go get something to eat or whatever. But then we'd be right back, and we were just really happy with that. So
Mhm.
that just kind of worked with us. And but we still had meaningful relationships. I mean, when it was time that we needed to talk to somebody, we knew we had somebody there. So it was
That's
just nice.
that's how you know you've gotten really deep with someone is when you can sit in silence and know there's not a problem. It's
Yeah,
just
no, that's so true because a lot of times you're sitting around with people and people cannot. I mean, they're trying to fill the space with nothing,
yeah.
right?
Well, they don't. It's just because they don't know you and they don't feel safe. I mean, when you first encounter somebody, like silence could mean like, oh, they're annoyed by you. You said something wrong. They're confused. They don't understand what you said. They're bored. So, but when you really know somebody, you know, like silence is just like, oh, that's just like natural, normal. Like,
right. It's a peaceful time, right? It just, I mean,
yeah,
just
it's
there's a
cool. It's like,
peaceful
oh, okay,
time
cool. Yeah.
as opposed to what's going on. So yeah, I
Mhm.
get that. Well,
Mhm.
speaking of safety, safety is huge. Feeling
Yeah.
like you can be yourself without performing. Remember, it talked about that. That's
Mhm.
true for women, but especially for men who've been taught to man up instead of opening up, right?
Mhm.
I think that
Yeah.
that's a good, I think that's a good reminder. Instead of manning up, how about open up with honesty, right?
Yes.
Let people know how you're feeling. Let people what you know what you need.
Yes. I mean, and we say this all the time, like, especially women, like, all what the biggest thing we want is men to be honest and to tell us how they're feeling, and to tell us how they're feeling when they're feeling it, right?
Yeah,
Because a
yeah.
lot of times men, they like, even if they end up doing this, it's delayed. It's always
Mm-hmm.
way too delayed. And then I think they get upset because then women react to a delayed emotion. And then the men are like, see, I shouldn't have said anything. And it's like,
Right.
well, no, it's because all this other stuff followed after. And now we're confused on where this emotion came from. And now that extra thing felt like, nonsense.
That's
Um,
true. Timing is important. I mean, really is important. I think that, you got to know who you're talking to, but some people need it right away, some people can't handle it right away. So you got to know who you're talking to. But I do think it's important to take care of it early. Take
yes.
care of it as soon as you possibly can, and then that way we can go on, because otherwise holding things in, just all it does is uh, first of all builds up confusion, but definitely resentment when it's all said and done, right?
Yeah. And it makes like negative emotions bigger. Like, it
There
makes
you go.
something you're feeling negatively seem bigger than what it was, instead of you just saying something in the moment. Men are very reactive. That's funny.
Well, I think so. I think that they are reactive, but I also think that they're not necessarily reactive honesty honestly. They
Yeah.
will react, but they don't necessarily react the way that they really want to at that particular time, because it takes some time to process. So if they react, they'll react out of anger, but they haven't processed it yet. And so that's why a lot of times men will come back later on and say, oh shoot, and they'll say something else, because it takes
Mhm.
some time to process. So I think that we have to, as women, we have to make sure that we're not forcing them to give us a response or reaction, um, until they're ready. I mean,
I,
some men may be ready soon. I don't know.
Yeah, I think something where, like, the emotions of men, it's like where they haven't been nurtured to, like, show like sadness, or like, oh, I don't feel good, or I feel, I'm like hurt or something. So the only emotion that they react to is like anger.
Yeah,
Um,
no,
that's
that's true. And there's a
that's what
book
I'm reactive
about
about.
Yeah, the book. I think there's a book about that. There's a book that I had about it was called Sam Keene's Fire in the Belly. It talks about how men crave emotional honesty, but often don't know how to express it.
Yeah,
So
like
that's a really good book to talk about, the emotions and honesty. And then
mhm.
she said, "Oh, hey there, buddy." He said, "A lot of men don't react until they're comfortable enough." No, that's so true, and I think that is important, though. I think that's what I was talking about. I think it's important for us to make sure that we're not pushing them, because a lot of times what we'll do is women, we're like, give me an answer. I need to know. Tell me, and we're pushing them, and then guess what? They say something, but they're not saying what they really want to say. It doesn't come out right because they haven't processed it yet. So we have to give them some grace, give them time, and let them talk about the things that they want to talk about when they're ready. So
Mhm.
thanks. Yeah, Terrence, how you doing, buddy? Um, and
Yes.
so I wanted to say, uh, men and women, I think in order to feel safe, you have to have a reciprocity, right?
Yes.
Meaning that I'm giving, I'm going to need you to be giving to you. I need you to make me feel safe. so that I can make you feel safe, right? So both people pouring into the relationship. And then there's another book out there by John Tyson. It's called The Intentional Father. Shows how intentionality builds strong bonds between fathers and children.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's another book. Um,
The question, like, I obviously the reciprocity, like, for safety needs is like really critical, because I know I'm sure everyone's been in a situation where like you're doing and you're not getting anything back. You would never feel safe, because
right.
then you end up feeling like you're not doing enough, or you're not doing something right, or like they're not understanding it, or it's the wrong gift, it's the wrong this, that, and the third. So if you give and then you're receiving, then it's like everything equals out.
Yeah.
Um,
No, absolutely. I
Now the
think so.
question is, okay, reciprocity. When it comes to like parents and children, I don't really know how that works. Like, what's the rest? What would you receive from children to know, to build safety between you two? I don't know what that would.
Well, I think we go back to the consistency for the children. We go back to the consistency, and we go back to making sure that we are present,
Mm-hmm,
right? So when we're consistent, our kids can count on us to be there, right? And when we are present, we are listening to them. And
mm-hmm.
so when you listen to people, people start to trust you because they know that you're listening to them and you're not just talking at them, or you're not making decisions and you haven't considered them. So even adding in that consideration for your children. So being very considerate, being very consistent, and being present with your children will help create a trust.
And honesty, like not brutal honesty, loving honesty, that kind that helps you grow. Like, I mean, honesty, I mean, sometimes in the moment can seem like harsh, but I know that long term, like, none of us are upset long term when someone's honest with us in a loving way. Of
No,
course, that
no, no,
needs to be said, because
absolutely.
the truth is the truth. Like, it doesn't really matter like how it's said per se. It's the truth. And
Yeah, I think the truth, that there's so many sayings about the truth, on how the truth will just the truth may sting in the beginning, but it will sustain you to the next thing. So I think it's important for us to make sure that we are practicing speaking our truth, right? I think
yeah,
so. So that's good. Yeah, you say, and you said that, not honesty, but not brutal honesty, but loving. Yeah, I think that's great. That's really nice. I mean, but meaningful relationships feel like home. I mean, they feel like peace, right?
yes, like that's someone I knew said she knew the relationship she was in was different, was because she felt at peace with that person. She wasn't overly anxious, and I think that's a good sign. Like, even when you're friends, like if you feel at peace, you're not performing. I think that, or feeling like you're having to, like, prove yourself to
Yeah, I
someone.
think so. I think so, but I do also think that some people don't know what real peace is, and I
True.
think that some people feel like when nothing's happening, when you're used to being in toxic relationships, they feel like when nothing's happening, they're, oh, I'm bored, I'm bored. That's how they feel, and I think it's important for us to identify what is peace. You know,
Hmm.
what are you feeling when you feel that peace? When you identify that, I think that you'll be able to appreciate it a little bit more.
Yeah, and the biggest sign I think of like feeling at peace with, like, being at peace with like emotional security. Like, you can say how you feel, and that person is not going to, hold that information and use it against you, or like blow up when you say something that's not necessarily what they want to hear. I
Mhm.
think that's like a big component of it.
Yeah, I think so. I think what the next thing we want to talk about is how to build and strengthen the bonds. How to build and strengthen the bonds. I think that's good. So one of the things to do is make sure reach out first, right? You don't have to wait for somebody else. Again, I think I said this so many times. These people say, "Well, I haven't heard from you," and I'm like, "Well, I haven't heard from you either." right? So reach out first. I mean, don't keep score about who called who first, last, or how long it's been. Don't worry about that. Let's get in the moment, and maximize the time that we have right now, right?
Mhm.
Don't wait for people to guess that you care about them. I think
Yes.
that's important. Make sure that, people know it. And not only make sure people know it, make sure you're saying it,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
Um, and
Yeah.
there's a book on that. It's from Tim Elmore's. It's called Nurturing the Leader Within Your Child. Where it reminds us that intentional connection builds confidence and trust. So
Hmm.
that's another good book. Um,
And the
that
and something about reaching out first, being intentional. That's about the reciprocity. Like, are
Mhm.
with your friends, like someone's only reaching out to you. Like, I'm sure now they're wondering, they could be wondering, like, even if they know, because I know I have friends like this who reach out to me all the time. I'm not necessarily a reach outer. But it's like you need to reach back out to people just so they know that you care and you're invested in the friendship.
Oh, that's so good. Sheba said it earlier. She was like, "Yeah, she likes, she wants to hear it. She needs to hear it sometimes." But then I'm not sure who this is a vacation every day. I love you for that. I want a vacation every day. She says she really don't like when people think that you owe them a call, a visit when they haven't made the effort either. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. And all my friends know that we might not talk for weeks, but when we talk, it's like we just we have picked up from yesterday. That's because our hearts are connected. And so I don't think you should ever get to a place where you are feeling like in a sense of entitlement on either side.
Mhm.
If you want to talk to me, pick up the phone and call me, but don't sit around being angry saying she hasn't called me in weeks. Like I said, you haven't called me in weeks, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it's important for yeah, I just think it's important to not keep score. Stop keeping score about who's calling who's doing what. If you wherever just go with your heart. If you want to talk to somebody, you call them. It's
Yes.
not because they don't need to call you first, right?
Mhm.
That ain't real. That's not a real relationship. I mean, you call when you need to call. I call when I need to call, and we meet up in the middle somewhere, right?
Yeah, and then don't feel like embarrassed to reach out. And it's like if you reach out and someone's not available, like that, there's no shame in that. Like,
Mm-mm.
that's
Mm-mm.
just you putting your, fishing line out, and then next time they're free or next time they want, they're available, then you guys can, meet up or get on the phone or whatever. So that's
Yeah,
all.
one of the things that I would like for every person to take today from this is always assume the best about your friends. So if
Yeah.
somebody's not calling you back, assume that they doing something. They're doing stuff. They're into stuff. They got things going on. Always assume the best. Don't assume the worst. Assume the best always.
Yes.
And I feel like, first of all, when you assume the best, you're not gonna feel bad. You're not gonna be feeling like, oh, they didn't call me or they're ignoring me. You're not gonna feel like that. And when you say, oh, you know what, they're getting it, they're into some things, they got a lot going on, they're gonna call me. They saw that I called them, and they're gonna call me when they're ready to call me. That's it. Give them some grace. So just hold on to that.
I mean, there is one thing about, like, and that's how you know you truly have friends. Like, your friends, you should assume the best out of them. But when you're interacting with people who you've seen in the past who are actively like dodging you or actively like using information you gave them against you or trying to, like, dodge you intentionally, then you don't need to, assume the best. And that's
Well, no,
really how you know you should be friends with someone. Your friend should be someone you can assume the best out of.
that is exactly right. I was about to go there. I was about to say, if you got a person like that, that's not your friend. That's
There's some,
somebody you know,
yeah,
right?
there's
Right?
some.
Don't give that. Don't even give them, the privilege of calling them a friend. That's somebody you know.
Right.
We're talking about people that we can count on. We're talking about people, that we want to have lasting relationships with. I mean, the bottom line is just be intentional. Just be intentional. And then for men, there's another book. It's called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. It explains how intentionality is a part of mature masculinity. So yeah, that's another good book
Yeah.
for men to read, because it really does talk about that. You know, as you grow as a man, you will see that being intentional is just a part of who you are. It's a part of you who you are. It's not new. It's not something new. It's not something that, oh, I'm going to do this today. No, it is a part of who you are. So be intentional with your interactions with people.
It's really a magic key, especially nowadays. Like if you're a man and you show some intentionality, and like at the lowest level of intentionality, you'll get women. So there's the dating advice right now. You go on those apps and you see someone you're interested in, to say, hey, you wanna go to dinner this place this time? People are like, oh my god,
Right.
wow, yeah, like you can weaponize that real quick.
Somebody basically saying somebody who knows what they want, right?
Well,
Because that's
even pretending you know what you want.
right. I'm okay with that for that, for the beginning, just to get a look. I mean, keeping it real, guys. There's so many women out there. You guys don't have. There's not a problem. There's not a problem for men to get
Well,
women.
no, it's not a problem, but I think there is, if like you see a lot of like nicer guys, who have issues on dating apps or issues going up to women. And it's like, if they just, and I think that's the biggest thing, just know that if you go up there confident and you have a plan, you can get bumped up a couple notches.
It's so true. Confidence raises your status for real.
Confidence, intentionality, follow through, like, because we don't see a lot of follow through.
It's true. And and looking the part, looking like you about your business. I think what do we see? We're saying look like you're going somewhere. You see people, you'll see somebody. Matter of fact, I'll call my son out today. We were going to the movies and he was going to he said his slides on. I was like, slides? That's for the house.
Well, the sad fact is he's tall, so he can wear the slides.
Well, I mean, I equated it to the bonnet. I was like, the bonnet is for the bed. It's for your house.
Yeah,
it's for your house. I mean, people have taken all these things. We created pajamas, all those things for lounging around in the house, and now they're taking it outside.
Yeah. What? Yeah, the bonnet outside is only kind of fine if you're going straight to the hairdresser.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. You get in your car, going to the hairdresser. Okay, all right. I guess I would buy that, but no, these people are they're doing too much for me. Doing too much for me. So I guess the next thing we want to talk about is communicate openly. So make sure that you communicate openly. Say what you feel. Say what you need. Say what you appreciate. There's a book like The Power of Showing Up that reminds us that communication is connection. So when you're communicating, you make connections by communicating. And so you make a connection by letting people know who you are and what you require. When you start putting out, creating expectations from people, you're gonna get something. That's for sure.
You're gonna get something.
Get what you want, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like people can't meet the needs they don't know about, and this is something I've been, learning and figuring out how to navigate. It's so true, because we just want people to be mind readers, and we assume everyone is in our own mind. So we're like, of course, it's clear.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and a lot of times, a lot of the things like that we talk about on this show, we talk about a lot of things that are seemingly obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just because it's obvious does not mean that it's on your mind.
No.
Right? So, you're like, oh yeah, as soon as somebody reminds me of certain things, I go, oh man, yeah, that's right. It's not because I didn't know, it's just that it's not on my mind right now. So there's nothing wrong with reminding people about things. Although I do have this saying that, when you're trying to date, I don't need men telling me the obvious.
Oh my God.
I'm like, can you tell me something that's not obvious? Can you tell me something that,
But when you're saying don't tell me the obvious, you're talking about things that like only a
Hey,
blind
beautiful.
yeah, only a blind man can't say that.
Hey, beautiful. Like, saying that 100,000, that's all you say is, hey, beautiful. And you're
Yeah,
just like, what
that's
is
not
that?
that's
It's
not
not
quite.
saying, it's not saying anything really when people say it. I mean, do you appreciate it the first couple times? You do. But if that's all you're saying, come on, you got to do a little more than that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I guess the other thing, men often struggle with communicating openly. And then there's the book. This book, I'm telling you, pencil this book in. The Mask of Masculinity. And then it shows how communication becomes easier once men drop the I'm fine mask. I love that. Drop the unfine mask and tell us the truth.
Imagine.
Right?
Sounds like a utopia to me. I don't know.
I think that's I think that's for most of us too, though, because I mean, we talk about a lot of women. Women don't want people to know that they're weak. Women don't want people to know that they're struggling in the area. So they're always, I'm fine, I'm fine. No, drop
I
that
think
mess.
I think that's really only a Black woman issue.
Yeah,
Because,
okay.
yeah, I think that's predominantly something that we have to navigate and have an issue with dropping that mask. Because most of the other women that I encounter, they're more than willing to tell you every single negative thing that's ever happened to them and how they're a victim and yeah, literally, no one else. I think that's we're the only ones saying I'm fine, and they're
I
just
think
going around
well, I
saying,
think that we've been raised. I mean, we're very prideful,
mm-hmm.
and we don't want people. We feel like people in the past have used any weakness that they can find about us against us,
and
and
our feelings
so
are disregarded. Like
hmm,
our feelings are disregarded. Like we're
that too.
seen as like super strong. We can take anything. We can handle anything. So even when Black women say something, they're just like, oh, they're complaining. Like we're not giving the leeway that other women are given, and we're not put in that same bucket where we can we need to be like soft and coddled and taken care of. Like it's not the same thing.
No,
Um,
it's true. No, I
yeah.
think it's true. I mean, a clear example of that is they talk about how when black women say they're in pain.
Mm-hmm.
uh I'm talking about that the doctor is more likely to just kind of ignore them.
Yes.
And they ignore them immediately as soon as they're like, oh no, she'll be all right, kind of thing. And you're just like,
Yes.
what?
It's
I
it's
said this.
yes, it's in Black women. I mean, that's why we have like high mortality rates with pregnancy, all these things, and also it's why it took so long for Black people to get affected by fentanyl because the doctors were just not giving us painkillers. So
Well,
now,
there you go. Now there's a bright side right there.
yes, silver
It
lining.
took us a while to get there because they weren't giving it to us.
Now
So
it's hitting. Yeah, we're getting it off the streets now, which is still
yeah.
not good.
So that's funny. That's crazy. Really, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next thing we want to talk about is practicing vulnerability. We talk about that all the time. I mean, everybody look at what is vulnerability, right? Just letting people know how you really feel,
Yeah.
right? Letting people in. You can't build closeness from behind the walls. You can't do it.
Yeah.
And Brene Brown, she's one of my favorite self-help authors, and she in her book Dare to Lead, she shows how vulnerability is the birthplace of connection. So when you're vulnerable, that opens the door for you to be able to make a connection with someone. But if you're not willing to say anything that is personal to you, anything that you care about, you're not going to be able to make a connection. That's the bottom line on that.
No. And vulnerability doesn't mean oversharing, it means being real. But when we're talking about like you can't build closeness from behind a wall, a lot of us don't even know we're behind a wall. That's really, I think that's the real crux of the issue. Like I think there's a lot of us don't even realize that we are like trying to connect with people, but there is a wall up. And
Yeah.
that's the hardest part about it is identifying that there's a wall there and then breaking it down then you can try to build connection.
Yeah, and I think that people have to be honest on the other side too. So if I'm not getting anything from you but fluff, then I
Mhm.
just need to be honest about what I'm getting, right?
Mhm.
I think that helps because a lot of times what happens is birds of a feather flock together.
Yes.
So people who are surface people, they hang around with surface people. And so
Yep.
it gets reinforced,
Yes.
right? We were talking about to go back to that bonnet thing. We were talking, I'm like, why is nobody telling people, matter of fact, about the bonnet, but why is nobody telling people about like the eyelashes? And I'm like, me and Sierrah talking about this all the time. I go, why is nobody, like your friends, not saying anything? Because I mean, sometimes it looks a little whatever. And Sierrah said, she's like, yeah, because all their friends are doing the same thing,
Yes.
right?
Like everyone, people hang around people who do and act and look like that.
Right. I mean, if we're all wearing natural hair, then we're not going to tell them to not wear natural hair. If we're all wearing, weave down to our butts, we're not going to talk negative about the weave down to our butt. That's just what it is. Not to say either one of them is better than the other. I'm just saying when you hang, whoever you're hanging around with, you all look alike. You see that? I go when you have a group of people together, everybody's pretty much dressed alike, their hair is alike.
Yeah,
Very
you start morphing. It's like that 101 Dalmatians where the dog looks like the owner. Like
so
your friends,
true.
like me and my friend from college, Coretta, we'd like walk to meet each other and then show up the hill and have the exact same clothes on.
Yeah.
And we're just like, or we did it in Payless. We're like, we're gonna buy shoes. And she's on one side of the wall, I'm on the other side of the wall, and I'm like, I think I found something. We like click clack over, it's the same shoes. It's like 100%.
Payless Sierra, y'all. Where was Payless at? Is that still a store?
It's
It was a store when y'all was in college, huh?
anecdote is not from today. I'll tell you that. Yeah, hopefully Payless is still functioning. I mean, people want to pay less. I'll tell you that.
Exactly. No, that's funny. No, it's so true. It really is. I mean, everybody, I don't know. It just happens. Like everybody has braids. I was telling Sierra about my church, and when I go into my church and everybody in there, everybody in my church looks very different. That's what I found is people are very individuals, but there is a culture at the church. And I thought, oh, okay, that's why I'm here, because I feel up like I'm a part of that. And so it gives me comfort, it gives me safety to be there. Whereas though if I went to a different place and people did different things, I might not be as comfortable with that. So yeah, that's something, right? So the other thing I wanted to remind you, there's another book by Baldani's called Man Enough. And it's basically a love letter to men learning vulnerability. So that's another book, another resource if you want to, practice on your vulnerability, right?
Please, man, read the book, please.
Read the book. You can get it on audio book, right? You ain't even got to read it. You can listen to it when you're in the car. You can listen to it when you're in the gym. I mean, you don't have
an AI summary. I don't know.
Ooh, I like that AI summary, right? Get AI to summarize the book for you. All these books I'm calling out tonight, get AI to summarize it for you. Give you the main points in it, and then you're going to be better because of it. So, anyway, so now I just want to talk about creating shared experiences. I think that helps to deepen relationships, strengthen relationships by creating shared experiences. So you need to do stuff together.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that we are friends and we have never done anything together. Right?
Well, I think it's more so that like that's the easiest way to like get a friendship together. Like you can go from an acquaintance or like a casual friend, and then you do even like you go hiking once. Like you drive an hour away and you go hiking, and then you encounter what you encounter, and you do what you want to do, and then you come back late that night, and you're instantly more connected to that person.
No,
Um,
no,
and that's
absolutely.
where the easiest way to really amp up a friendship. Even I mean, there's like small ways you can do that, repeated, like, little meetups. Thank you. Great conversation.
Thank you.
The Yeah, like there's little things you can do, but yeah, if you want to, deepen your connection with someone, and all this requires commitment,
Ah,
because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
a lot of people don't want. Okay, Terrence
Yeah.
says, good point. It's so hard to navigate due to navigate.
Overwhelming responses for older men because of overwhelming response. That's so good, Terrence. That's another whole show because there's so many women out there, and women are actually looking for more mature men.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't mean that, and I mean that in every level. Like, I mean, the 20-year-olds are looking for 30-years. The 30-year-olds are looking for 40-years. The 40-year-olds are looking for 50-years. 50-year-olds are looking.
I'm not looking for a 40-year-old. I
Okay,
want to make sure everyone knows.
the 30-year-olds are looking for 35-year-olds. But I'm just saying, women are looking for men who are stable, who have lived some life, and who knows how to live, right? Women are not attracted to grown children.
Yeah, childlike naivete is not
And
really inside
okay, so here's an example for that. I'm digressing, but I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go deep into it. Women are not attracted to men who are dressing at 50 the same way they were dressing at 20. Come on now. You need to have a button-up shirt. You cannot continue to walk around with t-shirts and big baggy shorts. I'm just saying. Just saying. She was saying, I like eyelashes, but not the big ones. See, that's what we're talking about, Sheba. We're actually talking about that because eyelashes are beautiful. I mean, they're really nice. I mean, it enhances your eyes. If you have like, the little small eyes, it opens up your eyes. They're very nice. But what I'm talking about those eyelashes that are on drag show.
drag queens.
Drag queens. That's what I'm talking about. The makeup on drag queens. If you look at a drag queen show and you see the lashes, you see the makeup, that is for the stage. It is for entertainment. People have got it mixed up. They're a little confused.
Yeah.
That you're not supposed to be wearing that when people need to see you close up. You're supposed to wear that when people are on stage, and it looks fine.
Yeah.
So, I think
people are getting confused because like they're not really modeling themselves after drag queens. They're modeling themselves after performers who are modeling themselves after drag queens. Like you see, or even, and it's even with the bodies stuff, the body modification, like people get things done because they're a performer and make money off of how their body looks. And then people are taking those things and thinking, I need to do the same thing when I'm a front desk clerk at Wells Fargo. And it doesn't make any sense. Most men, yes, Armand's saying I like natural beauty, no lashes or press on nails. Most men say this.
Well, most men saying that because they like not having to pay for it.
No. Yeah. Men like women who seem low maintenance.
Because because you can say you like a natural woman, you can say all of those things, but those put together women with all their whatever, they get so much attention, right? Yeah. Is it positive attention? Maybe not, but they're getting a lot of attention. So you said we don't want potential, we want them already.
Correct.
I love that. Now, is that for men or women? Is that we want the men that's already ready, right?
Yes. Because because so many of us have been burnt by picking up a guy off the street based upon potential. Like
looking for help.
Yes, because here's the thing: if that worked and it wasn't like a disaster 99% of the time, then a lot of women actually wouldn't have a problem with like, getting a guy that's in progress and helping them out. But so many women have been burnt by these fools who are just trying to figure out. And then as soon as they get to where they want to be, what do? Run to the
Yep.
next
No,
one.
okay, so here that's real though. I mean, the bottom line is that you cannot be, I mean, if a man is not on your level, that's what I'm going to say. If a man is not on your level, it is not going to work long term. Bottom
True.
line.
It's truly, yeah, there's levels to this. Like if you're in college and he's in college, cool. No one has anything. No one has any clue what's going on. That is fine. It's just when you start getting to like, oh, you live on your own and you have roommates, and then he's in his mom's basement.
Right.
What's going on? What's happening? That's when things start getting a little shaky.
Get back on topic. I'm gonna get back on topic. We talk about creating shared experiences. I'm sorry.
Okay.
She said you said you want a natural woman. Yeah, there's so many natural women out there. What's your problem?
We're gonna digress. We're gonna digress again because a huge thing, men want a woman who seems natural.
Yeah.
Appears natural.
I like that. Yes, appears natural.
Someone who just woke up, got in the shower, and just walked out. That's not then eyebrows not done, top lip not shaved, armpit, like they do not want any of that. They want someone who has like maintenance that doesn't look obvious.
Who is that? Somebody say, I'm enjoying these topics today. Keep up the flow of empowering each other. Thanks for pushing forward. I love you. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you.
Will do. And in the natural makeup thing, one last thing is I'd like them that whenever you say, oh, you like natural look, like have them pull up a photo of what they think a natural look is.
Yeah. What does that look like to you? That's exactly right.
A woman with a full face of makeup on.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I just want to make sure that we get this in about creating shared experiences, because what does that look like? It's like weekly check-ins, right? You can do check-ins with people, coffee dates, family dinners. And then there's a book called Raising Men by Eric Davis. It talks about how shared experiences build trust between fathers and sons. I think that's another good book. Get your AI to read it to you or give you a summary of it. Building trust between fathers and sons. I think that's so important in today's world, simply because we have a shortage of men. We don't have a shortage of men. We have a shortage of men who are productive citizens of the African American descent. So we need to make sure that our men are being more productive. That's really what we need to do. And the way we're going to do that is by building relationships with fathers and sons. I think that is a critical piece in helping our young men to just be better. So. Mm-hmm. And then I think the other one that I wanted to bring up was about protecting the relationship. We need to do that. We got to protect our relationship that we have, right? Mm-hmm. We need to value them. We need to set boundaries and resolve conflict with care. Yes. Don't say anything to somebody that you wouldn't want somebody to say to you. Yeah. Right. And I think there's the book of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families. Stephen Covey talks about how proactive communication prevents resentment. So with people you care about, you got to go the extra mile, push to get resolved, get conflict resolved. A lot of people, I don't want to talk about it. When do you want to talk about it? When do you think it'd be better to talk about it? Can we talk about it tomorrow? Try to set up some time to really talk about it and remind people that I want to talk about it because I love you and I want our relationship to be good. Right. Yes. Remind people why. Don't just say, I'm trying to get a resolution. We don't know. That's not how we do it. Tell them why. I want us to have a good relationship. I don't want it when I see you, I'm feeling a certain kind of way. Let's get this thing out of the way. And we can cry together. We can yell at each other. We can do all those things. But when it's all said and done, let's just be able to, give each other a hug or at least a nod, a smile or something to get things resolved.
And the problem, it never goes away. So it's like either you talk about it and try to get through it, or it just sits there and festers, like you said.
Yeah. Don't let pride ruin something meaningful, for sure. Because that's what And then there's another one. Sam King says pride is one of the biggest barriers to male connection. Ego.
Hmm.
Not better than you.
You
You
say.
disrespected me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
he
look
just he
weird. You look
disrespected
really weird.
me.
Yeah.
We saw that a couple weeks ago, right, Sierra? He disrespected me. You're like, really? Did he really? I mean, how you can't disrespect somebody if you don't receive it, right?
Yes.
So anyway, okay, look. Let's talk about. He says, send a list of books. Oh, okay, I'll
Yeah.
do that. Who is that anyway? Put your name in the chat.
Sheba.
Oh, that is Sheba. Oh, sorry, I thought it was a vacation person. Whoever vacation all the time. That's what she said. So as a mom, I've learned that relationships evolve, right? And you have to let people grow, right? So, and then there's another book, Tim O'Brien's Dad's Maybe book. Is a beautiful reminder of how relationships change over time. I think it's important for us to make sure that as the relationships change, we also, our expectations of the relationship change, our interactions with the relationship changes. So we have to grow together.
Yeah.
That's important.
And as a daughter, I've learned that closeness comes from understanding each other's humanity, not just the roles we play. Uh, Tanaji Coates, behind the world in me, shows how powerful it is when a parent shares their truth with their child. 100%. I think that's the biggest thing about getting older and navigating, understanding your parents and the dynamics, is realizing that we're all just human beings, and
Right.
this is all just our first time at our lives.
Exactly. We're all practicing, right?
You're all practicing live. This isn't. No one has a cheat code. No one has like a book that how to do every single situation.
Right.
Um,
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, bottom line is, look, we're not just a mother and daughter. We're two women learning each other and trying to grow together.
mm-hmm. Yes, and
And
that's why we're better together.
amen to that, right? So I mean, for you guys, so we're gonna close out and we just give you guys a couple little things that you guys can do. Take a moment and think about the relationships that matter to you, right? And who makes you feel safe, right? And who you make feel safe. Think about that, and who helps you to feel seen. And think about somebody you might want to go closer to, or even think about somebody that you might want to disconnect from. Because if the person is not helping you to grow, if they're hindering your growth, you might want to, I'm not going to say cut them off, but I'm going to say minimize the interactions, because that's going to hinder you from your growth. And she said, and none of us are getting out. I love this. None of us are getting out this alive. So don't be too hard on yourself. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, what's one step that we can do this week to nurture a bond? So you might want to call somebody, right? You might want to text somebody. You might want to, tell somebody something that is going to encourage them. Meaningful relationships don't happen by accident. They built with intention, openness, and love, right?
Yes. And when you nurture them, they become one of the greatest sources of happiness in your life. 100%.
Amen. And we just thank you guys for joining us today on Better Together. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you next time, because we are better
Together.
Amen to that.